Yes, my name is Tyrone Travis, and I'm going to talk about this evening the city charter. And I'm going to briefly make a statement that the city charter was put on the ballot illegally in violation of the Home Rule City Act and our charter. Only the charter was supreme. And we said the charter could not be revised until 2018. And but they did it anyway, and even the appeal court wrote the language to put on the ballot at the last minute when the city council was meeting on it, and they put it on there in violation of the separation clause in the state constitution. They had to have this charter because they had certain aims, and they named those aims is a document I got from the Citizen Research Council of Michigan. They say the basic decision for this commission will be whether you should have a strong mayor form of government or a Senate management form of government. Then the second, size and manner of electing the city council. And put it in human language, do we have district or at large city council? And then they talked about basic services. In this document, they said that the health department should not be in the charter. The water and sewage should not be in the charter. The public lighting should not be in the charter. Let them be ran by nonprofit groups, and that we would lose all control over our departments and our resources in the city. And that is the aim of their illegally establishing this charter commissioner. And the newspaper ran the slate, the predominant newspaper in this city that got over 100,000 circulation daily with no competition. They ran a slate and put those people in live colors, and the so-called political groups all followed the lead of the news media, and all their people got in except two people in the charter as charter commissioners, as city council, and as mayor. And to top it off, we found out that over 47% of the votes was thrown out by the Wayne County Board of Commissioners because of fraud, tainted votes that Bureau of Research found out, and right now he's just filed today, and I think today is the second. He filed at 11 o'clock today to be able to bring a case that against the mayor, that the mayor is not supposed to be in office because of the irregularity.
Travis, the fact that this commission was convened, does that give it legitimacy?
This city charter
Commission.
From the courts, yes, but the courts themselves is violating the law. As I said, the appeal court wrote the language, and judges is only supposed to only adjudicate, in other words, judge cases. They're not supposed to have a political acts of writing language to be put on the ballot. That's the separation of powers of Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution of Michigan.
Has the train left the station? You remember back in the Dennis Archer era, they did what they wanted to do. Their encoding words were, the train has left the station, there's nothing these people can do about it. Something's always in motion 2 or 3 years ahead of the thoughts of and concerns of Detroiters.
Well, it has left the station, but the train was broke down when it left. When the judge wrote, the appeal judges wrote the language to the ballot, they left off essential things such as who is to draw the boundary. So now they got to, through the city council, through the city charter, They got to finish this off and write who is to draw the boundaries. But already the research council they didn't know they were going to get all the people on the city council. So what they did, they wrote, we can't trust them. So they said, let's have a 3-panel committee made up of the clerk office, cooperative lawyer from the mayor, and then a city council president. Well, that's in violation of the Home Rule City Act. I think it's 20. Let me look. Section 117.27A of the Home Rule City Act says only the legislator has that duty to draw the boundaries, not the mayor and through his lawyers, and not an independent administrator such as the city clerk. And so so the train has left, but it's barely moving, and it's having problems because we are becoming aware of it, and we are not going to sit back and let no court. Martin Luther King said one thing. He said, I agree with St. Augustine. Any law that is openly against the interests of the people, we don't recognize that law. And that's what the whole civil rights movement is about. Disregarding laws was against the interests of the people. That's our history.
Haven't we returned to the era of the civil rights movement? But however, it's a little bit more sophisticated. In 1857, the United States Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Taney, said that a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect. All right?
Yes.
Now, having said that, right, they've been operating under the color of law. Mm-hmm. So as you just stated that there was no, that we should not recognize these laws that are not in our best interest. How do you purport that we fight that?
Well, yeah, it's not just the whites doing it to us. The state legislators have made all laws that's been negative to the people of Detroit, but in collaboration with our elected officials in Lansing and our elected officials in the city of Detroit. And so under that...
how do we call them out?
Well, I think the first thing we got to do, there's a group called Call Them Out. And they have started saying that we cannot have any elections, the fair election, until we can remove the city clerk and her director of election, Daniel Baxter. And I agree with her that we got to move them. And Barrow finding out how they tainted the absentee, 47% of the votes, is the evidence that we must remove her first.
Mr. Travis, with Eric Holder as Attorney General, it appears this issue may be a civil rights issue. Would this be the time to file a case like that when, they seem to be pushing civil rights issues with the Obama administration with Eric Holder as AG?
That's interesting. I don't know. With the character of the cast, you got the whites in the background passing the laws that enable black politicians in Detroit to carry them out. So you would have to carry a lawsuit against black officials, and it wouldn't be race.
No, it's not so much as the black officials. They're just figureheads. What we're looking at is that they're passing laws in Lansing, right, that is directed towards the people of the city of Detroit, which is a predominantly 88% black city. Now, I believe, would you agree, that it is in violation of the 14th Amendment, that is, which gives us equal protection under the law. So now what's being done in Detroit should be done in other cities around the state with the same problem. And I do believe that Detroit is not the only city in the state that has these problems, but they've singled out Detroit. Now, if they had to do it with all the other cities, then it would be a big outcry, and a lot of them would lose their jobs. Mm-hmm. But however, since they picked out the city of Detroit, then that means that we have lost. They have taken away our constitutional rights under the 14th Amendment. What do you think about that?
I heard Representative Coleman Young Jr. earlier today say that they're in violation of Article 4, Section 29 of the Constitution that says if you make a law and it's directed at the people themselves, and you name the people, you name 750,000 or more, and we only got one city in Michigan that's 750,000 or more. Well, he says that's a violation of the Constitution. Yes, but there's a Home Rule City Act that we was incorporated under. And they got on the first thing under incorporation says when they use the phrase 700,000 and more, they are talking about not just for the present, but in the future it possibly can be. So that's what that they use that's what they use to interfere with our local business here and say, well, we're not just directing it toward Detroit, because in the future you could have a city somewhere else 750,000. That's what they play behind legally, and that's in the Home Rule City Act.
In closing, what do you want the internet viewers to come away with in terms of your presentation? That
the city charter commission's number one task is to institute district city councils. They want to institute district city councils so that they could draw the boundaries and downtown would secede from Detroit. That's why the mayor Bing says he agreed with the concept of a city in the city. In fact, he just didn't agree with it. In 1987, he was on a committee that had that first a suggestion to Coleman Young to have a city in the city. Started north at the boulevard, south to the river, and east, west boulevard, and round the boulevard loop would be the new city. And that's the way if they can get that in, then they would shrink the city, because wouldn't be no funds coming from downtown, and all of our other 8 districts would have to be funded with our property tax thoroughly, and we already lead the nation in foreclosure. That's to move us out of the city. It has nothing to do with services. It's about downsizing the city, and downsizing the city, it don't mean they're going to downsize the city, because they say they got immigrants sitting on the boats ready to come in when we go out.